Got a big game at night. Number 8, LSU taking on Arkansas. They're traveling to Arkansas. This game every year is played for a trophy. If my notes serve me correct, it's a 2.5 point favorite for LSU. The over is 55.5. And LSU is coming off of an electric win where they didn't lead for at any point in the game until the end. So crazy. What are your thoughts coming out of this game with Arkansas also coming off of a big win post-bye?
Yeah. I mean, so when we were talking about Georgia and Texas, even a team that loses in this game is still kind of looking at the playoff picture. This is one of those games that I think is huge for playoff implications on that fringe team. LSU, if they lose this game, they're starting to maybe not have their footing for a playoff bid.
Yeah.
But this team could give LSU a fit depending on what Arkansas team shows up. Yeah. If the right Arkansas team shows up, this could be a tough one for LSU. And I think maybe not for the reasons that some people would think. This LSU offensive line right now is playing stellar. So Arkansas is going to have to figure out some ways around that. And that, I think, is the story of this game, is how do you put some pressure on Nussmeier if you can't get to him?
Yeah, and we saw the blueprint of putting pressure on Nussmeier from South Carolina, and we talked about their pass rush, and I'm sure that Arkansas and Travis Williams is watching that film with his team of how those guys can look like that. But that's a major key in this game, right? Like, how do you disrupt Nussmeier? We saw it in the last game in the first half, and just kind of seeing him try to warm up because he's a major key for them. It's also going to be for LSU. Like, let's get some resemblance of a running game. The days of Leonard Fournette seem long gone, and it's going to be a major part to controlling the tempo in this game and being able to control possession, because this Arkansas offense, while it's streaky, Taylor Green is a top 5 quarterback in the SEC from a yards perspective, right? And he can do some things alongside Quentin Jackson, where if LSU is not maintaining the possession for a long period of time, so Arkansas offense has proven to have the ability to score when it matters.
Yeah, right now Taylor Green expected to play in the game off of that bone bruise in their last game that they played. If he doesn't play, throw everything I say away. Arkansas is going to lose the game if he doesn't play. But if he plays, which he's expected to play, LSU defense, aside from last game, is kind of bottom of the SEC in stopping the pass and stopping the rush. They haven't looked good at really holding teams back. They just had an offense that was able to keep up. I think that if Quentin Jackson and Taylor Green can do their running tandem duo, they can evade the pass rush. Yeah. Taylor Green, great improviser, scrambling it from sacks, making plays downfield. It could be some luck here and there that's required for that. If that happens, then it's going to look more like that LSU South Carolina game or Arkansas Oklahoma State, where it's a bit of a shootout, 60+ points, which is what I think is going to happen in this game if Arkansas's offense fires.
Absolutely. And you talked about it, right? Like, you just can't give Arkansas hope. I have to imagine this season's been kind of fun for Arkansas fans, right? It's been all offseason. You're talking about Sam Pittman. Do we keep him? Do we not? And right now you're sitting around 3-3, and you're still kind of having fun though. You're beating teams like Tennessee. You're in games with Oklahoma State. You're beating some teams like Auburn, where it's not Auburn's best year, but it's still Auburn, right? It's a quality win. And in every game you're in, every game you're playing, you feel like you're in. And this is so it's a competitive Arkansas team that has a really good shot to win this game. When you have defenders like TJ Metcalf who can cause disruptions in the passing game, and you got guys like we talked about with Quentin Jackson in the rushing game, who are able to break out and have bigger games and always find a way to touch pay dirt, it makes the games interesting.
Yeah, it does. And I'm glad you brought up TJ Metcalf, because it brings up a good point about what this Arkansas defense has done well in games prior to this. When they played Tennessee, they made Nico really uncomfortable because they brought in a 6th DB often. Yeah. In a team like LSU right now, so two sides, they're throwing 65% of the time, and they're one of the best teams in the country at preventing sacks. 4th best in the nation, only 0.4 sacks given up per game. You're not going to get to the quarterback, so you need to have some extra coverage out there, because there is going to be time for him to sit there and find Kyron Lacey, Aaron Anderson, Mason Taylor, and he can dial up those throws. Bring those extra guys into coverage and force him to make tight windows or force them to make plays. And they can do it, but I think that's what Arkansas is going to do in this game to stop them. That 3-2-6 look, unique blitzes maybe coming from the nickel corner. I think we'll see something interesting because of the fact that Arkansas has not been great at getting to a quarterback, and LSU has been so great at protecting him.
Right. And like you said, like this defense was still kind of good enough to slow down a guy like Nico, who statistically is not Gary Nussmeier, but it has the abilities we saw early in the season to be successful. This Arkansas defense was able to stifle him without the impact of a strong pass rush. So using what you mentioned and talking about some of the splits packages and different formations is going to be a key for this game. I think, my last key for this game overall is just going to be what Arkansas offense shows up and how often they're going to show up, right? Like this LSU defense has proven to have gaps and holes. Showed improvement against Ole Miss, but you still gave up over 28 points. It's not like a ton, but if you find LSU in these types of games, which LSU seems to find themselves in a lot, right? South Carolina, and of course last week against Ole Miss, you're in a swing game where you can win. So I think for Arkansas, it's just going to be have your offense show up early and often, stay in it. If you find yourself dominating, throw my keys out. But just being able to stay in the race, get the ball last, and win this game.
Yeah, I like that point. Get the ball last. I think in this game, if you're LSU and you need to challenge the Arkansas O-line, get to Taylor Green and make the tackle. Don't let him improvise. I think he'll still be able to do that. For Arkansas, I think it's that coverage piece, stopping the receivers from getting those one-on-one plays downfield because they can make those plays. Bringing in those extra DBs, making Nussmeier make some tight window throws. I think this is a game where the team who loses is the one who commits, who loses the turnover battle, commits maybe 1-2 turnovers on the game. I see it coming by way of a one-dimensional LSU team that can outrun, required to throw the ball majority of the game, commits a turnover. Arkansas wins at home 33-30.
Ooh, going with Blue Pig Suey Nation.
Blue Pig.
Okay.
It could go either way.
Of course.
They're a little one-dimensional for me right now against this Arkansas team.
Okay. I'm going with those LSU Tigers. Momentum's on their side. Things are heating up in Baton Rouge. This game's in Arkansas, but it's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna be pretty per se. I think Gary Nussmeier does throw an interception, but I believe they find a way to win this game 35-31. Go Tigers.
Okay.